Hello again, welcome back to Print Island and to the Lighthouse. I am Richard Askam, and as you know by now, I am the Lighthouse Keeper. And as a result of being in charge of this wonderful place, I get to invite all sorts of people. And today, I've got two guests. They've got a conversation to be had. I'm interested to hear from both of them. Let me introduce to you in no particular order of importance, but obviously we'll go with Bob first. Bob Raus from HP. And Christopher Minn from Digital Link. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are.
Yes.
Hey, Richard.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm glad you said
Nice.
Bob first, by the way. Just want to get that in there. I'm glad you
Just establishing a hierarchy there. That's no problem at all. So, and
Bob's
actually,
boss.
Bob, I've got your job title down here, and I'm guessing you don't have a business card. You probably need some kind of scroll because what I've got written down here is workflow. AI and automation specialist, 30 plus years product and solution management leadership, cloud computing software and partner management, evangelist focused on customer success, and most importantly, a student of life.
Yes. Well, that kind of covers it, but there's more. But, I had to condense it.
There's more. Come back for season 2 of Bob's job title here on Print Island. So, and Chris, you're quite easy. You're just the founder of Digital Link.
I am. Yeah, very simple. I just find stuff really like this conversation. And that's how I found it. I found Bob.
Excellent. That's how you found Bob. Excellent. Well, listen, I've got you both on for a very specific reason, and I'm delighted actually that you've chosen Print Island to come and talk about the launch of a brand new club. And I'm going to let you, Bob, kick it off and tell us what it's called, what it is, and what it's all about.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and I have to say, the view from this lighthouse is incredible. And if anybody is out there, gets the opportunity to visit, you need to do it. Definitely. So what we've got here, actually, I've been working with Dscoop for a long time, many years. And the last 4 years at the Edge events in the U.S., we've had what we call a hackathon. And the hackathon for the first 3 years was very traditionally focused, I would say, on IT experts. We'd bring them in and train them, I would say, kind of in a separate room. We call it the cave, okay? And all hands on, good stuff. 25, 30 people in a session. They left complete experts on all the APIs and things that HP has, plus partners and more. Last year this year, we actually flipped it around. As you know, we talked before, but basically we opened it up for executives, for non-technical people, of course, IT technical people and others, spread it out with 4 different partners, sold out 140 seats within 2 weeks of opening it, and had a very, very successful event in Denver at Edge Rockies. With all that in mind, I'm going to say, a dream of mine came true recently, and that is that we were able to work with Peter Van Tiesling and the team, full support there, to open and launch what we're calling the Dscoop Automation Club. And because, we're HP, we're already an acronym, and we love our acronyms. Chris and I decided to call it the DAC, the Dscoop Automation Club, for short. What's really interesting about this is that it's kind of born out of the hackathon and out of a very organic conversation Chris and I had when he visited the U.S. last year that he can talk about. But the purpose of it really is to open up a new space in this amazingly collaborative community called Dscoop, which is very, very unique in the industry. And I can tell you that because I've worked in many different places. There's nothing else like Dscoop out there. And so very collaborative, experts, people that share, people that learn. And we, opened up this club so that people could come and open a forum. I have a question, I have an idea, I have an answer. It's great. So we're working to get the community engaged. Also to be able to provide, I'd say, more formal type of training, but not just for the people who could attend the physical event every year, but kind of open it up for everybody. And so we're working on that. We are working with Dscoop partners, software partners mostly, but we're open to finishing partners, of course, and robotics partners. And the idea basically is provide a space where this community can come discuss, ask, learn about all things automation for production print.
Love it, and
Yeah.
I love the acronym as well. I'm a big fan of acronyms. It's PDG, Chris. It's pretty damn good, is what it is. I'm curious to know, Chris, how you got involved with this. I know your background is in software and automation. I'm guessing that's what led you to Bob's door in the first place.
Yeah, I think Bob and I worked together when I was at Infigo on and off different projects, and we always were aligned in the value of partnerships. And I think Bob won't mind me bringing up some of the conversation he referenced where we're talking about how web to print works with MIS, but ultimately what we're trying to do is feed the machinery, feed the beast as we call it. But that's where the conversation started, because we were looking at Dscoop as a community, and it dawned on us. And I think, again, Bob won't mind me sharing, we had a pint or two to loosen up our planning strategy session. And one of the things we were saying is that it's all about what can we do for the software vendors, okay? And ultimately, if we get that right, that will provide assets and resources for the print service providers, and ultimately the ecosystem will look after itself, right? Everyone will be happy. So, and obviously then Bob was mentioned it was something that he'd been wanting to do for a while, and ultimately it's a win-win for everyone. Dscoop now has a community that is leading the charge in terms of software automation, software integration. But also we're setting a precedent for any future members who want to join the community. And actually they need to lean in and be part of this club. And they've got all the right people around them. But then having been an exhibitor, should we say, or a customer of Dscoop, I can see that this will bring value outside of the conference. So when there isn't a Dscoop conference on, there is value to the software vendors all year round. And again, I come back to the print service provider. They have somewhere to go to get the answers they may not know. So there are many angles to this, Richard, I think.
And I guess timing is everything, Bob, isn't it? I mean, my knowledge of the conference floor, if you like, the solution showcase, the whole building, if you like. There's many doors into Dscoop, but the one that I guess is being pushed on the most, and maybe why it's now, is this automation piece. And it's a critical part of everybody's business. So I'm guessing now is perfect timing for the DAC.
Yeah. So I'm going to say the advent of AI, right? AI is top of mind. It has to be, because it's everywhere and people talking about it and doing things, obviously not just in the print industry, I mean, everywhere. And so, AI becomes a method to analyze, to make decisions, to even now with tools from AI that can help actually do the integrations, that can help recommend various things to do and areas to focus on. And I think that the AI aspect of things, and I'll just say like tools like HP Neo and others, the ability to really make better decisions, because you're analyzing the data and you recognize, okay, I have this whole business and it goes from end to end, and golly, I don't know, I got 50 people, I got 100 people, I'm doing all these things for 200 customers, etc. Where do I start? So AI is going to help identify that, and our customers are using it to analyze. And then basically, the key here is people come to the conclusion that yes, all the industry trends like shorter runs and I'll call it the scarcity of labor and supply chain instability and all of the various macroeconomic challenges that are out there are leading people to the idea that, gosh, in order to stay profitable, I can't hire another 10 people. I need to automate. And so what do I do? Where do I start? And we found a lot of conversations very organically happening at Dscoop, in the hallways, at the bar, offline, online, at the events. And what we want to do is help out, really the whole community understand that Dscoop is a year-round value add for you, and not just, come to 2 days, 3 days at an event, and there's so much more. And so talking with Peter and working on these various ideas that Chris and I came up with, we've been able to pull this together in about 30 days. We launched, and we're working to build an agenda now. And we've got several sessions recorded that are already out there. I have to say, I'm super excited because in the first 10 days of announcing it, we have well over 500 members that have joined. And I'm just announcing it to the HP sales team today formally. So I'm expecting another 300, 400, 500. I mean, when we hit 1,000, I want to come back and talk to you more about it, Rich. This may be next week, or it may be this summer. We'll see.
I think you should just stay on Print Island, Bob, and wait. It feels as though this is gonna, you've created a snowball here. And Chris, I guess there's no, it's an evolution point, isn't it? Really, in our history, and we will, when we look back on this point in time, we'll realise that automation really, and all of the relevant bits that come together with that, changed everything. In the same way that cars changed it when we all had horses, and so on. It's the next industrial revolution, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's here. And I think the key thing is our partners all have the solutions and the expertise now. It's a case of putting them all in one room where they can be accessed accordingly. Bob makes the great point on AI. It's doing AI properly. That's something else we're very keen on. But ultimately, we've got all the right parts, all the pieces. It's getting the machine together. These guys will drive the content in time. They will drive the frequency themselves. All we're doing is giving them a platform really to share that information and that knowledge and strengthen our industry, which we've always said it here on Print Island, is both the creative industry and the tech industry. And then that's what we're doing, is bringing the tech side in there. And you'll be surprised if you look across many communities, the software side of it needs more investment. It needs more infrastructure. So, really pleased that Peter Van Tieselen gave us this opportunity. I guess, Bob, we have to thank the partners as well, because they really leaned in, didn't they, for the first session. And obviously the hackathon, which you featured here on Print Island as well, was an absolute success. So.
Yeah, and I want to mention as well, some of the things that we talked about, Chris, in the kickoff session, Richard, were, I'm going to say, some ground rules, right? So the ground rules for this are that members, ask questions, contribute. I told people it's not the Bob and Chris show, okay? So the idea is we're a community, we're opening up this space, and we're expecting and requiring the community to get involved. And we're going to, we did some polls on that opening session where we confirmed some of the things I think that Chris and I thought as far as direction, some of the formal education sessions and other sessions that will start to build a schedule and start delivering with partners, with other folks. It's not us, we'll be hosting, they'll be delivering. And the key there is another key aspect here is that this is an area to learn, to collaborate. I made it clear to the group that this is not a selling activity. This is, you come to the area, there's no product pitches. It's not like, oh, let me tell you about X for an hour. No, there's other places to do that. What this is about is bring a problem, bring a challenge. And then absolutely, we'll be featuring a product, a solution, an integration, a service, various things, on how that challenge was resolved or approached, let's say, plus the ROI. And so the key there is to make it very much, I'm going to say, from the PSP in versus having the vendors push their message out, okay, because it is a community. And so with that in mind, there will be, of course, things that are highlighted, but it's not a pitch around products and solutions. It's a pitch around answers to challenges. Okay.
And I think that's a key point to make as well, because I think most of us, and all three of us on this call today are very used to being sold to, but it's a very different decision when we're looking to buy from somebody, and we seek those solutions, we seek that knowledge, and actually by having this almost community within a community, Chris, you've already got a focus group of people that are looking for those solutions. This is just another way of providing them, isn't it?
It is, and we also know from our experience with the Dscoop community that when there are a roster of software vendors that are all integrated and connected, the print service provider makes more profit on the job. They've invested that large amount of revenue into that software, but then they then get that back. So what we've got to do is we've got to sing from that hymn sheet where we work together. We can bring that value to the PSP, but ultimately that's only going to feed more jobs. Okay, that's only going to help things work better. So I think what I personally would like to see, and I think will happen, as Bob says, is we're not selling as such, but we could be putting sessions on potentially with multiple partners talking about a case study with a print service provider joining the session saying, I use this, this and this. And I think, Bob, it was amazing, wasn't it, during the session, in the chat, there was a live, wasn't it? People chatting to each other and, it was great. So,
hey, I want to learn about this. I need to know about that. It's like fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
And this is what makes Dscoop so unique. I think you said it at the top of the call there, Bob, that actually the willingness, and I've noticed it over the years, the willingness to lean in, to not only tell you what my problem is, but also to help somebody that's telling me what theirs is. And that's the dictionary definition of community. And it's the bit for me that generates all the value. You mentioned, Bob, that you've already had 500 people join. We haven't even told people how they can join yet. So let's I don't, maybe we don't need to, I don't know, but let's go through roughly how people could join. And you've touched on a few of the benefits there, but expand a little bit on that as well, if I may ask.
So first thing is it's open to the Dscoop community. Okay, so you have to be a member of Dscoop to access the content, to participate in the forum, and to take advantage of these discussions and education sessions. So the way to join is you go to dscoop.com, you log in, and then you go to the clubs selection. Number one in the list, just because it's alphabetical, is the Automation Club. And so click on there, register or join, click the button, and you're in. So the key there is just taking the action to do that. Okay, so please do. Once you do, you'll start to become involved, let's say, because you'll get an email for various topics that are in discussion. And I believe I'm working with Peter and Chris Hyde to maybe send an email, let's say, once a week, so people don't get overloaded, but they're up to date. And then, as far as the benefits, the big benefit, quite honestly, is listening and working with peers. Okay.
Yeah.
The vendors, including HP, we've got great stuff. All the software partners, the robotic partners, the service providers, integration partners, finishing partners, by the way, absolutely. So the idea basically is we've all got good stuff and good tools. The question is, how are people using those things to actually impact their business? And that's the discussion that I'm excited about, because I learn every time I listen to the customers and to members, but also because I think that that's where Dscoop shines. Because people lean in, because they are willing to discuss or answer a question, hey, I got a problem here. Oh, I had that problem last year. Here's what I figured out. Don't do this. I recommend you try that, and call these people, or give me a call. If you're in town, come see my system, my operation. It's amazing. And so that is, I think, the core value of Dscoop is the members. And we all, as vendors, partners, hosts, enthusiasts, let's call it, are here specifically to support them in that, and to keep that magic alive.
I love that, and actually, I was once told, Bob, I can't remember who it was, a very wise man that looked a bit like my father, that said the best way to learn anything is to remember that you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. So the logic of coming into this community and listening is quite critical. Chris, you must. I mean, first and foremost, you must be very excited to be working on this project with Bob and HP and Dscoop. But what's the vision? What have you got in your head? I know you tend to look beyond what you're looking at. So tell me how you see this playing out in your mind.
I think stage one is quarterly sessions, suggested and put forward by the DAC membership base. I think Bob won't mind me saying that we're happy to do more, and the frequency can be more intense as the content comes. I think we've mentioned things like robotics, bringing that in as well. I think in essence, anything that has software at some point we would like to be used and on here. I'd like to see we would like to see member showcases as well. We'd like to highlight lots of different things. So I think to answer your question, Rich, is get started. Let's get the train out of the station. And I think after Ljubljana, then we can look at the cadence of the sessions. But ultimately, and I come back to it earlier on, we really want the software providers to drive the sessions. That's where the value is for everyone, and that's how this will work.
And I've said it 100 times, Bob. Chris is probably bored listening to me say it again, but really the print industry is the tech industry. It just doesn't know it. Right. And so we live in a world right now, don't we, where it is across every single part of our lives. Why would it be any different, in a business setting? I think the timing for this is perfect. I'm loving the fact that it's already become part of our parlance. In less than 20 minutes, we're talking about the DAC. I love it. You must be really pleased that this has come to life.
I said at the beginning, this has been a dream of mine, is to take the hackathon out and make it 365 days a year somehow. That's in my mind a win for everybody. But this is much more than just the hackathon. Obviously, this is the whole community, and so I think the sky's the limit. And that may be cliche, but I think it's true. The key here is that the more people get involved, the more conversations that are happening, either on the portal itself, or people connect and they take it offline and they're working on something. That's all good. We're here to help people connect and to learn and to grow. Not just grow, but by the way, through automation, profitable growth. We all need that, and we need to reinvest in the industry, in our systems, in our people. And I hope that this really can become a significant competitive advantage for the Dscoop community, because again, no one else has Dscoop, and no other organization that I know of yet. Chris, I don't know what you know, but I don't know anybody else doing anything like this sort of club today anywhere. Okay.
I'd like to be corrected. I think it'd be good to be wrong, wouldn't it?
I like the fact that you say the sky's the limit there, Bob, because obviously we're here at the top of the lighthouse and we're closer to that sky. But we're nowhere near the limit, which is fantastic. Listen, we've got this.
I'll use the analogy. Quite honestly, we're at the top of the lighthouse. The light keeps hitting the back of my neck. I got a great sunburn. But here's the thing: the fog is clearing on automation. Okay, and we are trying to see beyond, and we need everybody involved to help us make this vision a reality. Okay.
Well, that's why Print Island came into being, Bob, is to help people see beyond the horizon. So thank you for that. That's a beautiful analogy. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you back on Print Island again today. Final thoughts. You've got this view. We're looking at here over the entire industry. What would you like to see happen in the next 12 months, really, with not just DAC, but also the whole Dscoop community? It seems to be accelerating. Chris, what's your goal for the rest of the year?
I think we need to shine the light on the wins, the community, the collaboration, the partnerships, the value that our partners and the members bring.
Yep.
Nice. Bob, follow that.
I think a big part of maybe what the challenge has been is having, I would say, decision makers really understand what's possible, and also to understand, at least at a very high level, what tools are available and what could be done. And another key aspect here is also helping the decision makers, owners, executives really understand the talent that they need to have on staff. Either let's say contracted out, because I know a lot of people would be contracting, but on staff is somebody thinking 24/7 about your business versus a project that you define and give to somebody else. And I've learned quite a bit from some of the younger folks that are at HP and solutions architects. And I think I can't say enough about bringing in the right talent, especially younger folks who grew up digital. These are the folks that come to you with ideas instead of you having to figure it out.
I would agree with that. I have an 18-year-old daughter that does that on an hourly basis. So yeah, I understand that completely. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on to Print Island and telling us all about the Dscoop Automation Club. I think it's hugely exciting, and as you're already seeing, Bob, people are already joining. So I think there'll be a lot of people knocking on your door. But for now, thank you for your time, Bob Raus and Chris Minn. I've been Richard Askam, and this has been Print Island.